Hi, my name is Dr. Christian Conte, and in this video, I'm going to give you the secret on what you can do to learn how to throw yourself out there. So stay tuned. My entire life, since I was a little kid, I've thrown myself out there. Whether it was answering in class, whether I was right or wrong, it was throwing myself out there for answers in class. I have television shows, podcasts, I'm on the radio, I'm a professional speaker. So I have made a career, I've made a life out of throwing myself out there. And I want to share with you what it takes to be able to throw yourself out there. Because I promise you that if you're looking at this video, it's probably because there's something deep down inside you that you want to share with the world, that you want to get out. And maybe you're not sure on how to get out. Maybe you have a little bit of fear on throwing yourself out there. And I want to help in any way I can, give you the courage to give the world your gifts. One of the hardest things to face when you throw yourself out there is criticism. No matter what you do in life, people are going to criticize. That's a fact. In fact, there's a great Aesop's fable story about criticism. Okay, so there was a man who was going to take his donkey into town to sell it. So he and his son started to walk the donkey into town to sell it. And they came across a group of people and they asked them what they were doing. They're like, hey, we're taking a donkey into town to sell him. So the people started laughing and they said, well, why isn't somebody riding the donkey? So the man put his son up on the donkey. So they start going a little farther along on their trip. They run into a new group of people. The new group of people finds out what they're doing and they say, well, that's kind of rude. You're a young man, you're up on a donkey and you're making your father walk, right? So the father's like, yeah, that's right. So he got the son off the donkey and he goes up on the donkey. Now, they're riding a little farther and they run into a new group of people. Same thing, they tell them what's going on. They start laughing and they say, how could you make your young son walk like this? So he says, you know what, you're right. So now he brings the son up on the donkey. So they're both on the donkey now and they're riding into town. They run into a new group of people. They start laughing at them when they hear their story and they say, you're going to break this donkey before you even sell him. So they're like, you know what, you're right. So they get off, they tie the donkey's feet to a stick. They each grab a part of the stick and they start walking into town. Now they're walking over this bridge into town there. This is an absurd scene. They're carrying a donkey into town. So naturally, people see them and they start bursting out in laughter. And when the people start bursting out in laughter, the father and the son, they get really embarrassed. They drop the donkey, bam, the donkey falls off the bridge into the water and drowns. And the moral of the story is in trying to please everyone, you can't please anyone, and you're certain to lose your whole ass in the process. I love that story because it goes to show that people will always criticize. They'll always tell you to do something differently. There is a wonderful quote from Theodore Roosevelt about it's not the critic who counts. Now this is not a quote that I've memorized, so I'm going to read it to you, but I promise you it's worth listening to. So listen to this. Theodore Roosevelt said this. It's not the critic who counts. Not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. That's from Theodore Roosevelt, the man in the arena. It's not the critic who counts. Okay? You are going to be criticized when you throw yourself out there. That's a fact. And sometimes people say, well, I can't handle that. You can handle that criticism because it is in people's nature to sit back and say how they would have done things better. Some people get their identity by pointing out how they would have done it. And then they live this imaginary life as if they actually could have done what you're doing. And they really fantasize that that's them and they're doing it and they would have been doing it better than what you're doing. So are they going to criticize you? Yes. Are people always going to have an idea for how you should take your donkey into town? Of course. People will always have that. But if you listen to them, then you will hesitate before you even throw yourself out there. And the fact is, those people will always, always be there, waiting in the wings, anonymous. Think about how many in the world of social media, people in sheer cowardice can hide behind anonymity and say whatever they want to say because they don't have to actually put themselves in the arena. They don't have to actually do it. They get to just sit back and criticize and throw out anger, negativity, hate, whatever they want to throw out because they have no responsibility for it. So, my question to you is this. Yes, you will hear that, but will you let that define you? Will you let someone who hides behind that tell you what direction your life's going to go in? Will you not share your gifts with the world because there are going to be people out there who do that? And what I say to you is this. At the end of your life, when you look back, you're not really going to want to look back and say, well, I could have done this, I could have done that. You're going to want to say, I did this. And maybe you failed, maybe you tried really hard, and people hated it, nobody liked it, great. At least you gave it everything you had. And that's the intention, is to give it everything you have in life. There's a great line in the poem Ulysses. Lord Alfred Tennyson tells in the poem Ulysses, he tells a story of Ulysses had gone to the Trojan War, and then he had gone off on this long adventure on his way home called the Odyssey, named after Odysseus or Ulysses. So he's gone for nearly 20 years, and he comes back home after all these adventures. And now it's quiet, it's calm at home, and he gets to a point where Tennyson has Ulysses say this line. He says, as though to breathe were life. Life piled on life were all too little, and of one to me, little remains. Now think about that. As though to breathe were life. That's not living. To live is to throw yourself out there, to put yourself in the arena of life, whatever it is, because you have beautiful, wonderful gifts, and you have something to share. And I can tell you this, no one who is more successful than you is going to be putting you down and ripping you apart. Because when people reach a level of success, they learn there's no reason to put other people down. And when you reach a certain level of real success, and success isn't about money or fame, but when you reach a certain level of success as a human being, you have no desire to put other people down, but instead to encourage people. So let me ask you this. If you were lost and you were looking for directions and you came across two people, and one person, she really knew which way to go, and the other person had no idea where to go, and you go into it knowing that, who are you going to listen to? Obviously the person who knows where she's going. Now, think about that in terms of who you want to listen to in life. There are people who are filled with success and doing wonderful things, and they'll encourage you. And there are people who are not filled with success. And like I said, that could mean anything. It has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with fame, it has to do with success in life. However people define that success, happiness, inner peace, any of that. And there's this group of people that doesn't have that. And now you're going to let them determine where you go? If you're lost and looking for direction in life, I would invite you to go with the person who knows the direction. Go with the people that know that direction. And in your heart, you know that. You have a lot to share with this world. There's no doubt you have a lot to share with this world. And I'm coming at you in this video much more passionately because I genuinely believe that if you don't throw yourself out there and you don't put yourself out there, then you'll regret it. But if you put yourself out there, you might get hurt, no doubt. You'll get hurt. There'll be times you'll mess up. You'll say something. It comes out wrong. You'll do something. It's not going to be perfect. But if you throw yourself out there, you'll have known that you gave it your all. Let me go into that poem, Ulysses, a little bit more. Because let's say you're at a spot in your life where you say, well, it's too late for me to do whatever. And I want to say to you this. As long as you're breathing, it's not too late. It's not too late. So let me quote more of Tennyson's poem, Ulysses. Again, this is Ulysses speaking as an older man, and here's what he's saying. Come, my friends, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world. Push off, and sitting well in order, smite the sounding furrows. For my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the baths of all the western stars until I die. It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be that we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom we know. Though much is taken, much abides. And though we are not now that strength which in old days we were, that which we are, One equal temper of heroic fate, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will to strive, to seek, to find, but not to yield. You don't give up. No matter where you are, you don't give up. In life, it doesn't matter anything that you've ever done, because guess what? That's gone. The past is gone. What matters is what you do from this moment forward. And so, here is my secret. And this is the secret to how I've thrown myself out there in life, and how I want you to throw yourself out there in life. The secret to doing it is this. Just do it. Throw yourself out there. My camera just shut off, so apparently I was going on too long, so I'm going to wind this whole thing down here in a concise way. At the end of your life, I want to ask you this. Will you have wanted to step back and said, I didn't do it, or that I did? I want you to say this, that you laughed hard, that you cried hard, that you felt embarrassed at times, but you felt great at times. I want you to know that you gave everything, because when you give everything that you have to this world, when you share those gifts, the people that will say the negative things, those people will fade so far into the background. And what will rise up, what will shine through, is the fact that you gave the world your gifts. And so with everything, with all of me, I wish you the absolute best in throwing yourself out there. And as always, I wish you much peace.